weeks ago now, I think 17 days actually, mum of two, Nicola Butley, was reported missing after not returning home from a dog walk. Lancashire police say their theory of Nicola falling into the river still stands the case. And they say there are no suspicions of a third party being involved. But the investigation has moved towards the coast of Lancashire. Police found no new leads at the site of her disappearance. But over the last couple of weeks, commentators have suggested that Lancashire police have made a series of mistakes. I, obviously, have been glued to this case, as I think many people have. One of the reasons why everyone's so glued to it is because of how mysterious it appears, and I feel that many other people feel as though it's becoming increasingly unlikely, at least seems increasingly unlikely, that Nicola went into the river at all. And I think people are concerned about that. Here to discuss this with me is one of the head divers in the Nicola Butley case. It's Peter Faulding. Peter, it's great to see you again, and thank you very, very much. Now, I know that we don't want to sit here and slam the police. The police do a fantastic job, etc. But in your own opinion, would Nicola really have been able to fall into the river and float down the Wear? Because the police's hypothesis is she fell into the river, presumably was rendered unconscious, couldn't get out, and then has somehow managed to get out into the Morecambe Bay area and off. Realistically, is that even possible?
Right, well, we've got to look at the facts here, Patrick. Where the bench is, I was there last week with Paul, and we looked down and I showed him that at the moment there's a foot of water. On the day, it's been confirmed by the police, there was another foot confirmed by the Environment Agency. That would have been 2 feet of water that Nicola would have went into and landed on rocks. It does shelve off and it goes into deeper water in the middle. She would have to be pushed from behind and launched into the river to actually miss the rocks. If she slipped down, she would land on the rocks. And the police divers, who are highly professional, searched that thoroughly that day, all the way down that strip. And from all my experience of averaging 10 drowning victims a year, about 6 suicides, we find them where they go down. And that's fact. They don't drift unless it's a really, really heavy flooded river when they will move down. But it was not at the time, and that was confirmed by the family. OK, all right. And why do you think the police are still so keen to push this narrative? A lot of people have said that Nicola was wearing a Fitbit, OK, and that has been confirmed by police, as I understand it, that Nicola was wearing a Fitbit, and that there might be some evidence on that data that, movement has stopped at this time or whatever. Why don't they just tell us that? I've no idea. I mean, I've had a lot of senior police contact me and ex-military search advisors contact me as what's going on. It should have been left as an open inquiry here. We don't know. We've got no evidence apart from a mobile phone that we know of, at least that's what we know of, and a dog harness by the river. It should have been the immediate area searched extremely thoroughly. I was up there the other day after 10 days, as you know, and the undergrowth had not been beaten down. Normally, when you search, all the undergrowth gets beaten down, it gets trimmed back for any signs of evidence. There actually was no sign of evidence of any really in-depth land search that had taken place around that particular area.
And this is a huge concern for a lot of people, most notably Nicola's family, children, friends, everyone who's close to her. But also, as well, Peter, something that I think shouldn't be underestimated is just ordinary people, especially women, in the area. Now, we all hope that Nicola is safe and well. We obviously hope that nothing terrible has happened to her. She's not so... But the reality is that as it currently stands, if she's not found in the river and it appears to be unlikely that she's in there, another alternative is that someone's taken her or something like that. And until that has been identified, other female dog walkers, other women anywhere, will have a right to be very, 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 very worried about the situation. Do you think the police have done enough to rule that out?
I don't think there's any evidence to rule anything out. I mean, I've already been very blunt with Paul, and I've spent a lot of time with Paul and Emma, and just said to them, we've got to potentially be prepared for the worst here. Let's not, like you say on your show, we're too woke on a lot of things now. We've just got to say it as it is. And I've said to them, we could be looking for a body. We could be looking for a deposition site here. She could have been kidnapped. She could have been being held at a will. And this is what needs to be really well looked at. I don't know, there's a lot of work going on behind the scenes. I'm not here to beat the police up. I work with them all the time. They do a great job, and they for the greater good. But I think on this particular inquiry, the media aren't being told, the public's not being told. They need to get a grip of their PR.
Yeah, I actually would go even a bit further than that. I think the media have been pretty generous with the police. I can remember similar-ish case when I was working up in the Lake District. A poor lad, unfortunately, ended up going into Lake Windermere up there, and there are issues surrounding that. And really, just a couple of days in, the media, both national and local, were really going at the police, going, come on, what's going on here? What's going on here? Are you doing enough? And it did kind of spark a bit more. There wasn't that, but we're 17 days in now, and as you rightly say, don't want to slate the police or anything, but people like yourself, and you're not the only one, are saying, well, hang on a minute, were basic land searches done? Have they been done to this day? For example, even the family is saying, I mean, there are concerns about the police, Peter, there are, aren't there?
Yeah, there's lots of concerns. And I was with Paul the other day, and he was saying...
Paul is her partner, by the way, is he? Sorry to interrupt. Paul is her partner, isn't he, just for people who are watching, yeah.
That's right. Paul is the partner, Patrick. I was with Paul, the partner, and he is pleading with them to actually search in the surrounding buildings, and they confirmed that had not been done. Now, one thing I will say, there's been a lot of people turning up trying to break into buildings. Yeah. Please don't do that. Please stay away. We can let the police do their job, but obviously that does need to be done thoroughly now, because as I said, we don't know where Nicola is, and I'm praying that Nicola has just walked off somewhere and will show up and she's okay. She just walked away, but there's no sign of that with the family. She was a very happy girl. She was a creature of habit.
I'm going to go to a police statement in a second, but just one more quick one with you, if you don't mind. It's just based on something you said there about having a chat with Paul, who is the partner of Nicola Bulley. And just to confirm, so as far as he's aware, the police have said to him that they've not actually done particularly thorough searches of various buildings nearby. Is that correct? Because what are they really telling him? I mean, if I was him, I'd be going absolutely out of my head at the minute now.
He actually is going mad, Patrick, to be honest. He's holding it back. I was on the phone again to him today. He calls me to, I comfort him, and it's a difficult one. He just wants more land searches done. I mean, I've worked on hundreds of missing people inquiries over the 20-odd years, and this is the surrounding area, like I said, should have been beaten down, searched every nook and cranny, every drain, not just focus on the river. It's crazy that we're just saying she's in the river. I may be wrong. She may end up at sea. But for all my experience, this would be the first where I'm actually wrong. Normally I'm right on this type of thing with my experience.
Gosh, well, I must say, look, thank you very much for coming on, as ever. It's the second time we've spoken. In a way, I hope it's the last, because I hope they find her. But, we'll have to wait and see. Look, Peter, thank you very, very much. Peter Falling there. Now, he was heading up that independent dive team. What do you make of that, ladies and gentlemen? So, the partner of Nicola, it would appear, confirming to Peter there that the police haven't even searched some outbuildings there. We did approach the police, and we got a comment back from Lancashire Police. Now, throughout this investigation and in the briefings held, we have stressed that we continue to keep an open mind about what might have happened to Nicola, and we continue to look at all the potential scenarios to eliminate them. But based on all of the vast amounts of work we have done up to now, we continue to believe the most likely scenario is that Nicola has fallen into the river for some reason. So,